Welcome to the Wisdom Lifestyle Money Show. I'm your host, Scott Dillingham. The show is designed to help Canadians invest better in Canada and the United States. We specialize in mortgage financing and education in both countries. Discover how you can become a better investor and access the financing you need. Welcome back to the Wisdom Lifestyle Money Show. I'm your host, Scott Dillingham. Today I've got Dmitri with us from Share. And Share's an amazing organization, as is Dmitri, and they help Canadians invest in the States with, I'm going to say, holding their hands. You hold their hands and you guide them through the whole process. So welcome, Dmitri.
Thanks, Scott. I'm happy to be here and look forward to chatting today.
Yeah, likewise. So I usually start off these podcasts with a bit of history. So how did you get into real estate investing? How did you get to where you are now from when you were younger?
Yeah, good question. So funny enough, I actually started off my career in real estate on the debt side. So, out of university, I got recruited into a job at a, large Canadian private lender, kind of working across the Canadian sectors throughout the different asset classes. And, after a few years, I got kind of recruited into an acquisitions role and an asset management role at one of Canada's largest, private equity shops that focuses on residential real estate. They had, launched a U.S. residential division, and I kind of got recruited to join that team when I was just kind of starting off, and really kind of worked there for close to a decade before teaming up with my co-founders here at Share to try to bring that institutional asset management into the world of direct ownership for retail investors.
That's awesome. That's so cool. It's cool to hear everyone's journey and just how they got there. And I love hearing yours. And the one thing that I keep hearing, and it's in the news, it's on podcasts, it's all over the place, is that you've overlooked billions of real estate transactions, like dollar amount of transactions, which is massive. Can you tell me more about that experience?
Yeah. So, during my close to a decade at Starlight, we'd grown pretty significantly. We launched many funds, both focused on retail investors, kind of public funds, launched institutional joint ventures with, very large, pension funds and so forth. And during that time, we built up a portfolio from when I joined, which was kind of, maybe in the hundreds of units into a portfolio that was close to 20,000 units.
Wow.
We were one of the more active groups for sure, both in Canada with some of my colleagues at the time, but also in the US. So, during that time, I think, we completed over, $7 billion worth of transactions for residential real estate in the US. And, being part of a small team, I got to see a lot of that and work on, most of those deals directly. So busy time. It was obviously a lot of fun, and the deal nature is always pretty robust, but great experience. That's kind of where I learned the ropes of U.S. Real estate investing.
No, that's really cool. And you can see how your experience led from what you did into Share, because I know you guys help your investors find properties. And, I'm curious, how do you find the off-market properties? I know you guys connect with some of the online stuff and you've got some offline stuff. But how does that work? I know investors are always calling me and asking me and saying, hey, I want to get off-market deals. And they can actually get them through Share. So I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. So there's a few different channels that we kind of use for sourcing our deal flow. Obviously, you mentioned, we are tapped into seeing what's actually listed on the market, through the various agents on MLS that, everyone can kind of see online. A lot of the time there's some good deals to be found there as well. So we're definitely, using our technology to kind of screen those, evaluate them, and, decide which ones to pursue on behalf of our clients. And then we have, a whole network of off-market, deal flow that we kind of, pull on as well that, really is that base for finding those opportunities. So I'd say a big one is going to be, wholesalers. In different, regions, you have, different types of groups, and they're really the ones kind of tying up opportunities and then going to their, network of institutions or private buyers on a pretty closed off nature where you have a pretty short time frame to really express your interest and tie up those deals.
Mhm.
That's where a lot of the time we'll find unique type deals, whether it's lease back opportunity where the owner may be staying on as a renter for a few years, even potentially subject to existing financing opportunities. And then generally just finding deals that we often see have a discounted nature relative to what they can sell on the market. And a lot of times there's a reason for that, and it's about making sure you kind of price that correctly and do your diligence.
Awesome.
We also get off market opportunities directly through other institutional owners, whether it's through some of our network of peers in the industry. Sometimes they may be selling off properties, and you have opportunities to transact off market. Everyone loves to do those, so you kind of build relationships for that reason. We do have kind of a few broker partners that often will kind of have some deals before they get listed on the market, where we get a window to kind of look at it on with fewer investors for, call it, that off market opportunity.
Yeah.
And then we also at times get direct opportunities from builders, again, before they may be putting it on the MLS. They kind of, through, whether it's through our PM partners or directly to us, give us that visibility. So there's definitely a wide array of kind of sourcing partners that we have for the off market opportunities, and we're very active in trying to find the right ones for our clients.
Absolutely, and it shows. And you know what? I'm gonna put this here in public so everybody can hear this. I don't even know if you're aware of this, to be honest, but we've obviously we financed some of these,
Hmm.
and we, as part of the process, you need an appraisal.
Hmm.
So we've seen on multiple transactions for multiple investors that the price that you got them for and what you sort of sold it to the investor for, there was still equity there. Like the
Hmm.
appraisals are higher than the purchasing power. I don't even know if you know that, but for an
Yeah.
investor hearing that, I mean, that is one of the beauties of working with Share and how they find their properties. Because, and obviously every deal's different, but
Hmm.
the ones that we've seen, there was extra equity there on the table. Did you know that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's part of our goal. I think financing always adds that caveat. We want to make sure our clients are getting a deal that's gonna be appraised at or above what they're buying it for. And so it's great to hear, and I appreciate that, Scott.
yeah, no worries, no worries. So I've seen a lot of your backend, your portals, and how you guys. But I'd like to talk about this here. Could you dive into some of the due diligence? Because if I'm not wrong, you're the guy that reviews all these properties for your investors.
Mhm.
So what does that look like? What are some things that you take into consideration?
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, the way it works with our clients is, we're bringing them, actionable opportunities. Once that we've already screened, we already have an estimate for the initial numbers. It fits what they're looking for, so that way, they're reviewing opportunity that if they say yes to, it's under contract. They can kind of move on to actually doing the real diligence on it and deciding, do you want to proceed to closing or not.
No.
So initially, we're screening these deals. We're reviewing, the information provided, the photos, trying to understand kind of, what work needs to be done, looking at the market, looking at values, making sure it kind of meets that baseline, test the baseline criteria, and that, the metrics are in line with what, we are targeting for our clients. We put together kind of that initial underwriting, do some, third party checks, whether it's for rents, for values. We have a pretty good sense of where insurance comes in, because we have a master policy for our clients, and we have a pretty good good sense of taxes, and have some tools to really kind of get estimates on a county level, because a lot of times you may be getting reassessed after purchase, and really making sure we kind of have that view into the initial numbers. And then we present it to our client, And at which point, if they say, yes to it, we already have it under contract, whether it's with a seller or a wholesaler, we kind of enter, into that diligence period. And
Mhm.
during that time, we we put forward an earnest money deposit, but it's refundable, subject to us doing our diligence. And it's during that time, we'll have, a third party inspector go out and put together, very thorough report on everything in the home. I know with a lot of our, Canadian clients, they're always pretty surprised to see the size of that report and the detail it goes into.
Mhm.
During that diligence period, we also have our, local property manager partner, or, a trade they have in the area, go to the home and put together a detailed scope of work. So really, understanding like what is the capital we're going to need to put in the deal after closing,
Mhm.
to hit our, targeted rents. Sometimes that may be very large renovations. Sometimes they may be just addressing some minor deficiencies. And we want to just make sure, that part of our underwriting is firm. So once we close on the home, those renovations can get started by the vendor and by our PM partners. And then we also, part of our diligence is discussing those opportunities with the PM. They have, we typically work with, larger institutional types partners. So they service, other institutions, not really one-off investors. So, to them, we are that institutional client. So we have, some support there. We kind of get their, sign off on our assumptions, on, the rents, on the renovation, kind of go through that in detail. And then again, present that all, to the client for ultimately that final sign off on, do you want to waive your option period and proceed to closing, or do we terminate and look for a better opportunity?
No, I love it. That's awesome. And you can tell, like, just from everything you said, right? It's so detailed, which I love because a lot of underwriting that I see people do on their deals, it's like it takes 2 minutes and it's like you missed all of these things.
It's good to run some, napkin math and back of the envelope calculations to make sure, and we obviously do some of that as well at a high level. But it's important to kind of get into the details, and I think there's a lot of places where when people do it themselves, where you can make some pretty sizable mistakes, and our job is to mitigate those risks and really kind of help our clients really make as informed decision as they can whether or not to invest the capital into buying a rental property in the US.
No, awesome, awesome. No, I have another question for you because another thing that comes up is, you know, why would I use share when I could just go find the property myself? And we both know the pitfalls of that, but I want to talk about it here so everybody else that's listening could hear it. So why should an investor use share over kind of trying to do it themselves?
Yeah, and it's a great question. So I think I can probably talk about this one for a while, but I'll maybe boil it down to a handful of really key differentiators that I see us having. The first one being, we're an end-to-end platform. So it's a comprehensive solution for investors that are looking to buy and own and build a portfolio of rental properties. So we gotta help through the entire process, from initially formulating your investment plan to helping you structure, put together your entities. We help you through the actual acquisition and sourcing of the deals, and then we act as kind of the asset manager, really overseeing the property, putting together strategy for it, working directly with the PM partners, and then moving that all the way through to refinancing strategies, other value add, and ultimately like the reporting that goes back to the client. All of that is kind of in one end-to-end solution. So I think we really kind of separate ourselves through that. And I think that's, a big difference that you're going to get from doing it yourself, whether you're self-managing or actually working directly with a PM. They can help you with certain aspects of the investment, but it's really, just that piece. We kind of go from end to end.
Mhm.
I think the second part will probably be kind of, that technology driven approach. We're ultimately, pulling in a lot of data, both macro and micro, really kind of using technology to kind of streamline and, enhance the experience both our clients sees, but also in the way we evaluate and work through, all these various processes on our, end-to-end platform. So I think that's also a pretty big key, that as a do-it-yourself investor, you're not really going to get in as thoroughly as you would with us. Third part will probably be what we just talked about, the network of off-market partners that we have, and the type of deals, our clients get access to. Again, we see a lot of deals. Only so many of them are actually, once we want to jump on and work with our clients on. But again, that off-market deal flow, I think, is also something that, is a big benefit for working with Share over doing it yourself.
Mhm.
And then the last part is really, that's, educational piece, the support we give, right? So we are helping you kind of throughout the entire process. So whether it's guidance on what to look for, where to buy, right? Some investors may have their own thoughts. Some are looking to us for that guidance, whether it's, how to best structure to avoid various pitfalls, what to look out on the actual deal itself, in the numbers, which expenses to incorporate into the underwriting. All of that, we kind of educate and help our clients with. So again, I think that's also, it's something you can do yourself, but you're going to so many different places. And again, we use those third-party tools that are typically reserved for institutions. You're not really going to make sense of it paying for it, by yourself. But again, big institutions use, tax consultancy to really understand what are the reassessment percentages, what's happening on the mill rates. And, a lot of times you're buying a deal that may have been held by the previous owner for many years, and the tax value is way below market value. And do you know, is it a state that reassesses annually? Is it a state that reassesses on a 4-year cycle? Is there a cap? Right. So we kind of get a lot of that information, which again allows us to really provide a great service, to our clients.
Yeah, they make much more like better educated decisions, which I love.
Mhm.
No, that's awesome. So we're coming to an end here.
Okay.
We like to keep these short and quick, just so we know, right, during someone's commute, they could potentially listen to the start to finish. So I'd like to leave it with, how do people contact you? Let's say they're hearing this, they love it, they want to move forward with your service. How should they reach out to get the ball rolling?
Yeah, so you can go to our site, sharesfr.com, create a free account that will prompt you to schedule that intro call with either myself or Andrew, our CEO, and we'll take it from there, and look forward to having more of your clients kind of come through and start learning and seeing if the US is the right opportunity for them. So that's sharesfr.com.
That's awesome. And I'll put it in the show notes too. So if anybody's in the car or whatever, it'll be there for when you're done driving. But no, that's awesome, Dmitri. Thank you so much for coming on. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it. It was good to get to know you a
yeah.
little better and hear your story.
Yeah, thanks so much, Scott. It was great to be here, and look forward to continuing to work with you. It's definitely building a great partnership here. So appreciate you having me, and we'll speak soon.
All right. Sounds great. Take care.
Take care.
If you're serious about investing and you want to take it to the next level with the least amount of time and mistakes, then you're going to want to sign up for our Real Estate Investor Hub. Visit investorhub.lendcity.ca or check the show notes for the sign up link. Inside, you'll have access to real estate investing courses, networking opportunities, webinars featuring industry professionals, as well as dedicated chat channels to share and get access to unique properties. I look forward to seeing you there.